Welcome to another Dow Jones update. Okay, so in this particular video, this wave revision, we're going to go over the same waves as we're seeing in the NASDAQ. It's basically the same thing, right? Long-term pattern is basically the same thing. Now, the thing is here that the waves just look a bit different, and there's one particular wave which to me, I don't like the look of it very much, but everything else makes sense, so we're going to go with it. So the A wave is there, the B wave is there, the C. Now the D wave is in progress, it's almost finished. Then we're going to see an E wave crash, right? Not a collapse, a crash. So collapse would be when this whole pattern is over, right? But there's still this to go. E will finish 4, and then we're going to get 5. Okay. Now that's when we're going to deal with yet another zigzag. So this is just getting absolutely crazy, but the point is that it's pure weakness that's basically happening here, and yeah, it looks like it's an expanding pattern, right? It's an expanding pattern. It keeps expanding every time, so that means that the E wave could potentially expand pretty big to the downside, right? It could be longer than wave C. Okay, so this is just using the idea that basically what I just said, it's expanding. Okay, so what does this mean? It means it's near a top. Once it hits the top, expanding patterns tend to, really reverse to the downside in a very fast manner. And if you know what the long-term pattern is, then you'll know what's coming. I'll link that video below, actually. I made a long-term pattern of the Dow video recently, so you can check that out to see what that's all about. So the long-term pattern is the same still. We're only just changing the wave 4 waves here, so no big deal. We're still looking at the zigzag in here, so that hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is basically what's coming in the future, right? We need to be very clear on what's coming in the future, because that's going to be, that if we have these clues, we have this knowledge, we're going to be ready to trade it, right? That's what it's all about. We need to know how to trade it. Great, that's basically it on that. So let's move into the smaller time frame, and let's just get it on the chart properly. Right, so we have our A wave, our B wave ended here, and now this is C wave already in progress. So as I flip on these labels, right, the only wave that I don't like in this whole thing is this B wave, right? This B wave is extremely unusual looking, but the waves are there. Okay, so you've got your A wave in here, A, B, C, D, E, and then you got wave C. So A, B, C. Okay, so even though it looks strange, the waves are there. Let's move on. Let's not think about that. Okay, so we've got the C wave here, which is a very unusual C as well. It's a weak wave C, basically. Then you got your D and your E. So using AriasWave, only certain waves can happen at certain times. So it fits fine. There's no rules broken according to AriasWave. So at the end of the day, we can call the B wave complete at this point. Okay, so we will mark that as complete, and yeah, we'll just ignore that for now. So we're in wave C. I had to do a wave revision on this as well, and you know what? In the end, it ended up making sense. I don't really care about trading this particular move now because it's too close to the top. Okay, but there is something that you need to know, and if you've been following my previous idea where we got tripped into a trade, I would suggest you take that trade off now, or at least soon, right? Now, you probably aren't stopped out yet, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. To be safe, I would just take it off, okay? I would take off the trade. Now, the reason being, as I'll get into right now, is because we have not seen any kind of top yet. There is no top yet, okay? Now, I'm probably gonna have to use the hourly chart on this one. Okay, great. So this is the representation of this move, and even though it's very strange, it makes logical sense now that we've done the wave revision the way that we've done it. So this was the end of wave B. This is where we start counting 5 waves up, the same length as the A wave in brackets from back in March. Is the target is the red line. Now, so we had our 1 2 1 2, right? So because of these twos being fairly small, alternation is taking place in the latter part of the move, right? So we have our wave 3, 4, and then 5. Okay, so that's the end of wave 3, and that explains why we're seeing what we're seeing now. Okay, it makes total sense. Now, I do believe we still are going to get a move down lower, right? So I'm not saying that short trade is completely wrong. It's just that you'd be trading a C wave here, right? And I'll explain that to you in a sec. Right, so obviously we're having completed wave 3 here, right? Now we obviously need to see, a fairly slightly more complex wave 4, because wave 2 was short and sharp, right? So that's what we're starting to see now. We're starting to see the AB, right? So I'll just zoom in on this. So, there's the A, there's the B, right? So I'd expect there to be a move to the downside. Yes, that's true. So even though the idea is technically still valid for shorting this, it's not the same wave that I was intending on shorting, right? So this move down, it may just continue lower, right? But you got to be safer, you should probably move your stop here if you're going to trade this move, right? Right. So initially the stop was what? Where was it? Hang on. Well, up the top, really, right? Well, because of this, what this kind of move is, if this is the start of C, then that's where you'd put your stop, right? If that's the start of C, right? I would say it is, but I'm not guaranteeing it simply because I'm not trading it and I don't want to, right? I'd basically just be more interested in trading the impulsive moves that you'll get the evidence for those moves once corrections are complete, right? So once we see wave 4, we're going to see wave 5, and that's going to complete the move since March, right? So in my opinion, it looks like the NASDAQ is sort of a little bit ahead on this one, but that doesn't mean anything because corrections can speed up, slow down, however they feel like it, right? So at this point, we just need to be mindful that this is what's going on. This is in wave 4 right now. So there's no hurry. There's no impatience. We're just basically laying out the plans for the coming moves, right? So we're getting ready to pull the trigger, but we're not going to pull it yet. Not until I put a short trade idea. Basically, possibly to trade the wave 5 up, maybe to trade the wave 5 up, but more than likely, it would just be in preparation to short this market, right? So we need to see a wave 4 in place before we can begin to make plans, right? So possibly, yeah, you could go up for a little long position there or something, right? It wouldn't hurt actually, right? Considering that we are zoomed out now, so it may seem like it's not very far, but in reality, once you get those waves happening, that move could be, profitable. So I will keep an eye out for that one. So we may go long for wave 5, and then get ready to short it using those levels once they're in place. Okay. So that's it. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.